welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Friday Night Pint, the show where we have a chat and we have a pint. That's simple as that, really. Thank you very much for everyone for joining us in the chat. I nearly didn't join us because I've just opened my eyeballs. Look. I'm knackered, to be quite honest. Yeah, but sorry, we're a bit late, ladies and gentlemen. But how are you all? Are you all good?
Splendid. I'm splendid.
Very good, well. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, good spirit.
Yeah,
it's been a long week, a busy week. It's Friday night. It's that time of the week where we just chat absolute balls about West Ham.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to talk about. It should be an interesting one, and a lot of big topics this week. So it's been a mad one.
We can finally put to bed.
What's that?
The Lingard.
I think it'll be a while before we put that to
circus.
Yeah. I always knew you went to bed early, Gray.
I've been this week.
Well, the Lingard stuff is definitely not getting put to bed just yet. That's fucking sure.
I thought it was the money was too. I mean, we'll get into it in a minute, but
what?
But I said we'll get into it in a bit. But I thought it was sort of been knocked on the head because of the money.
I don't think so. I don't think it just has just yet. But we have got a lot to talk about tonight. If anyone wants to talk about anything in the chat, just leave it in there. We'll talk a little bit about West Ham, a few subjects. We'll get you involved in the chat, and then we'll go. You can ask. This is your chance to ask us anything.
So we got the Perkins story, Danjuma. So there's a few things that are there. So don't worry if we're not talking about it yet. We'll get there.
What do you want to start with, Ryan? Let's go with you. What do you want to start with?
Well, the title was about Jesse Lingard, so we might as well start about Sonny Perkins. No, joking. Start about Jesse Lingard. Look, it's going to drag on. I think there's a lot of people getting bored of it now.
It's been going on the best part of a year.
He wants 150 grand a week. Listen, he's a free transfer, so we've just Yarmolenko was on 120 grand a week, and we just got rid of him. So the money's there. If Moisey really wants Jesse Lingard and the club wants Jesse Lingard, then just pay it. If that's what he wants, then pay it. He's a free transfer. There's no transfer fee for him, so you might as well just pay that money.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, is it just a case of penny pinching again? I mean, I know 150 grand a week is a lot to give everyday man on the street, but when you feel like you say, Yarmolenko was on 120 grand a week and he barely played. And what did Zuma come in on?
He's on 90, 100, isn't
he? Yeah, was he on 100? I think he was a bit more than that. When he was on over 100 or something, wasn't he? But like Ryan says, there's no signing on fee. There's no transfer fee. So
I mean, for us, it's frustrating because we just want it done. But for Jesse Lingard, he's got all his rights to wait and see what offers are out there. But if Jesse Lingard wants to move to West Ham, then get it done. Because as I said last week, I tweeted it out last week. I was out in Box Park last week, and I spoke to someone who approached me because I had my West Ham tattoo on my leg. He started talking to me. Then he said that he works for the media agency that represents Jesse Lingard. I thought to myself, all right, mate, yeah, you're just talking a bit. But then he started showing me photos on his phone with him and Jesse Lingard. So I was sort of thinking, yeah, all right, maybe he does. And he said to me that Jesse Lingard loved his time at West Ham, and he's open to going back to the football club, and he'd like to move to West Ham. So if that's the case, then why ain't it getting done? If Jesse Lingard wants to move, the only reason the move ain't happened yet is that the board don't want to pay the money for him. So it's all up in the air at the moment.
Yeah, I heard today. I think it might have been Talksport or someone put out that we're his preferred move, but it might come down to wage structure, not so much of not wanting to part with the money, but looking at where he is in relation to the rest of the squad and how much he's getting paid versus other people. I tweeted out earlier, I wouldn't mind seeing, say, offer him 100 grand a week, 120 grand a week, maybe a little goal bonus or a little signing on bonus, sweeten the pot a little bit like that. Negotiate, because he was getting paid what, 75, 80 grand a week at Man United. So we're talking like still a massive wage hike. I mean, if he wants double his wages, that's big. So I think maybe he's starting high and leaving room to negotiate.
The problem you've got is there are clubs out there that will pay that. So if we don't pay it, someone else will. So,
well, I just saw in the comments someone, where's it gone?
The thing is, we can't afford to take this out because we'll be missing out on other players while we're waiting for Jesse Lingard to make a decision. So either say to Jesse Lingard, look, you got a certain time period, make your decision. If you're not comfortable, then we move on. And that's it. You just move on. I'd love to see Jesse Lingard back at West Ham, but I don't want him to hold us to ransom in the transfer window while we miss out on other targets.
Well, I think this is the issue. I think this is the issue with the whole. For some reason, West Ham only seem to be capable of talking to and negotiating with one player at a time. And like in this day and age of football, you look at what Tottenham's doing. They're doing multiple deals. They're putting multiple offers on the table, putting down multiple deals, like getting serious and saying, right, this is who we want, this, but and they seem to be negotiating all these players at the same time. They've been negotiating with Richarlison, with fucking Perisic, with Jed Spence, with all of these players. They want them players. They're not fucking about. And this is what worries me a little bit about West Ham is sometimes I think a lot of this is all smoke and mirrors. It's that, yeah, well, we've offered him this and we've offered him that. We've seen these games that they've played before, like with the likes of Carvalho, and we've offered this. Like you don't have to just chase one man. You know what I mean? Like you're not thinking like it's not like you don't want you have to chase one player and you have to pursue that player, then go wait for an answer. Then if he says no, you go right. Well, we better get on to the next one. There should be multiple people talking to multiple. Now we don't really know what's going on. Yeah. We don't even know what is going on, like in terms of the football club. There hasn't been an awful lot of information about. We've been linked to 50, 60 players in since the summer came. Yeah, so I'm not going to sit here and say no, this is what definitely happening, but I do feel this is one of West Ham's or a current board of directors sort of diversionary tactics, because they do use these like excuses and all of that sort of thing, underbidding for players. Now, the only thing I would say about Jesse Lingard is Jesse Lingard isn't in the country. I've seen enough of his fucking TikToks to know exactly where he is at all the fucking time of the day. Yeah. So that's what could be holding it. Obviously, they're going to be negotiating with agents, but at the end of the day, the very last say on the matter comes down to Jesse Lingard. Yeah. It doesn't come down to anyone else. Jesse Lingard, and someone's got to sit there, shake an hand, sign a contract, and move on like that. Now, if he's demanding that much money, I think with no transfer fee in place, I think he can demand that much money. And I think it was sort of broken down like if it was 100K and he cost us 20 million, it would be the equivalent of what he's asking for and all of that sort of thing, which, I don't think it's out of the question, that sort of money. Should it all go to the player? Probably not. I would go with more bonus incentive because, when he was here on loan, he done very well for us. But there was an incentive for him to play. There was an England place at stake. He wanted to start playing football again for Manchester United. If he comes in now on 150, 180K a week or whatever, he ain't got to impress no one anymore. He signed that contract till he's about 32, 33, and that maybe his last, his last move. But it all comes down to him. Now, if he's umming and ahhing, yeah, and I've always said this about any player, if anyone's umming and ahhing about coming here, don't come here. And I've always said that. If you're umming and ahhing about, I'd rather see what comes up. Well, I don't want you then. You've been at
but the manager does. That's the problem. The manager
the manager does. But if the player is sitting there going, well, I don't know, let's see what comes in. No, fuck off. Go somewhere else then. You know what I mean? I don't want you here unless you're 100% committed to West Ham. Now, I don't know that's going on. You know what I mean? Like it may not be going on. It might be progressing the way it progresses, and it may be getting done.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we don't know. We're not the only people that know, and the people involved. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
of course,
It's probably his last big move in football, so I can understand him being, a little bit more cautious and taking his time because.
Well, it's not only that he's got to move his family down here as well. It's a big decision. So there's more than just thinking I want to move to West Ham. You got to think I got to bring me. He's got a young daughter as well. So there's a lot of aspects about the move. But as you said, like if he's in and ahhing, I do understand in a way why he's doing it. But we have to give him a deadline. If a decision ain't made, we have to move on.
Well, he's got the thing is right. The thing is with that transfer, right? You say it's a difficult decision. The one decision you will make is he's not going to Manchester, so he's moving anyway. He's going somewhere. He's not staying at Manchester United. He's definitely 100% not going to Manchester City. So whether he fucking up sticks and goes to Newcastle was a fair old fucking whack away from Manchester as well. So he's moving anyway. So if he's already been here. And he's already got settled here once, then it's a no-brainer. Just get the fucking thing done. I just get sick to death of this sort of thing. Like, as I say, like I get sick to death of being able to ransom it. As I said, if a player if he's got to think twice about coming here, then I don't want you. You've got to, for me, you've got to be 100% committed to a club. Otherwise, there's no fucking point. To be quite honest with you,
every player is going to have their options open. Brozier will be the same. He's probably got clubs, a lot more clubs after him than just us. Every player is going to have their options, so they've got to make that decision. It's like in our world, in the world we live in, it's like going to another job, isn't it? When you're sitting in a job and you think, should I move to a new job? Oh, I don't know. You think of all the ups, the downs, and things like that. But in their world, it's exactly the same.
But it's a lot easier to make that decision. It's a lot easier to make that decision when you've already been there. You know the manager, you know the people, you know the city. You've already done there once. I think it's a no-brainer. If he wanted to come, he'd be here. But as I say, like I'm not taking it as the deal's dead because at the end of the day, as I said before, he's not here.
But the unfortunate thing is,
what we need to do. Sorry, Gray. What we need to do is just carry on with our transfer targets and get the players in, and then just as I said, just say to Lingard, look, you've got a certain time. Carry on, go out and get other players, and then if you don't want to join, you don't want to join. But we've got to get other players through the door.
That's the problem. The problem is obviously we heard this week about that. Apparently, Dan Juma wants to come to West Ham. Apparently, the board. Newman wanted him. They want to sign him. They're willing to pay the money. But Moyes is unsure because he prefers Lingard. So we have a player who, ticks Nicky's box of wanting to come West Ham and, good player in that position. But because we're so focused on Lingard, we're letting this player, go by, missing out.
Hold on a minute. I've got an issue with this Dan Juma fucking thing, right? Let me just read this super chat quickly. It says, I actually don't want Lingard. Says Carol 1969. He's holding us by the balls. He has had the chance, make a deadline. If he doesn't sign, then goodbye. Now, I would say that yes, that's true, right? But I've seen this Dan Juma fucking story break and then unbreak in the last week. Romano's sort of said that we was talking to him and we're in advanced talks with him and all that sort of thing. £45 million. Coming from Spain, meant to have a bit of a stinking attitude on him. Moyes reckons he don't want him, or he's a bit apprehensive about him. Now, the problem I've got is we've been linked with, as I said, like Don makes a list, right? We've been linked with 60 players during this transfer window.
But there's a lot of that just media talk, just trying to.
It is media talk. But it is media talk. But I'm just saying we've been linked with 60 fucking players over this transfer window, yeah. Which a lot of it is media talk. But why is this the one that broke the camel's back with a fan base? Why is all of a sudden all these people going absolutely fucking mental that we're not interested or Moyes don't want? Who is he? These fuckers don't know. I don't know.
I'll just say one thing as well. I think that I've always said this, that the final decision for a player should come down to the manager, because at the end of the day, the manager's the one that's got to manage him. You know, the board and the fans can want whoever, but the manager is the most important person at the football club, because he picks the teams, he coaches the players, he's got to get the best out of them players. And if Moyes doesn't want him, then we have to just sit back and accept it. We can't just have a meltdown on Twitter because he looks good on FIFA or he fucking had one good game for Bournemouth. Because I'm the same. I don't really know much about him. I know he played for Villarreal or plays for Villarreal, and I know he went on loan to Bournemouth, and that's all I know.
Champions League team of the season.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I don't really know much about him, but I mean, Felipe had rave reviews, and he come here and he wasn't that great. So it's a massive gamble. But look, if he joined, of course I'm going to get behind him. I'll get behind any player that signs for West Ham.
But at the end of the day, mate, you know, we can say we want this player, we want that player. The manager can keep or lose his job on who he signs, how results are going. So as long as Moyes thinks they're the right fit, you know, the manager.
If Moyes is saying no to him because he's holding out for Lingard, and then we miss out on Lingard, well, then he's got egg on his face then.
Yeah, but we don't know that Moyes is. You know, like I say, it's all a lot of stuff. The only people that know are the people that are involved in what's going on behind the scenes. With us, we're just speculating.
We don't know. Weren't the fan base kicking off like a year or 2 seasons ago when the board were picking players? So this is what I'm saying. It's 6 of one, half a dozen the other, innit? It's one of them. Like for me, if David Moyes listen, apart from Jordan Hugill, when David Moyes, since he's been back at the club, I think he's got most of his signings spot on, and they've improved the first team. So if Moyes don't fancy him, then we have to. I think
Vlasic is a big error. I think a bigger error looking back on it than Hugill, for the money that we paid for him. That's a bit of a stain on his sort of, you know.
That was a panic buy. That was a panic buy at the
end.
Because
he's holding out for Lingard, because he's chasing Lingard. Same thing, isn't it? Chasing Lingard, shit. We need that sort of marquee signing. Is 20 mil for Vlasic. This is what I don't want to see. 30 mil, yeah. Well, yeah. I don't want to see history repeat itself. That we go focus on Lingard, and then all of a sudden now, shit, we can't get Lingard. We need to bring someone in.
I honestly, if we can't focus on more than one transfer, then we need to get more people involved.
The problem
because
is
we hear this too often, Dan. It's like, oh, we was pursuing this, but it happens far too often, and like we should not be. And we'll take some comments in a second. We should not be focusing all our efforts. It shouldn't take all the club's resources for a free transfer. There's not even a club to negotiate with. There's not even a fee or solicitors or anything like that to be negotiated. You know, this is as clear. This is as easy as transfer as you would get. It's a geezer.
I think it's misleading though to say we're focusing on one, Nick, though, because they are looking at other positions. Like you're looking at Broja. They've been dealing with doing the deals and negotiation with Broja at the same time as they've been looking at Lingard. At the same time they was sorting out Areola. So they are. It's about the position that they're not looking at more than one player for the same position at the same time. But that's because you want your first choice.
I've got a feeling that this Dan Zuma thing has just come up because they want to nudge Jesse into a decision.
Well, the thing is as well, like I think that players that are out of contract are the hardest to sign because you've got more people interested. When there's a transfer fee involved, clubs can't afford it. But when they're a free agent, they're the hardest players to get, I think, sometimes.
I don't think so.
It's just because you've got obviously if Jesse Lingard was still at United and there was a transfer fee of 35, 40 million, there'd be a couple of clubs involved. Now there's whoever wants him, basically, whoever gives him the best offer.
No, but I think it's a harder transfer for the player because he's got so much choice. But I think, you know, you put your what do they call it? You put your keys on the table, you put your eggs on the table. What do they call it?
All your eggs in one basket.
No. Put your cards on the table, eggs on the table. What the fuck am I talking about? Put your eggs on the table. Now you put your cards on the table. You go, right. That's what we've got. Now you might have he might have more options, but there isn't that extra layer of of a club to deal with. You know that's where the excuses come from. Like that's where the excuses come from with the guys that just went to Liverpool that we was negotiating for in January because them and the club couldn't come to an agreement. You know, oh, we put in this, they wanted this, they put in this, they wanted this, they put. You know, you put your contract in front of a player, in front of a free agent, and he can either say yes or no. There is no extra layer to go for. There's no negotiation. It's just like that's what we got. He might come back and say, well, if I'm going to go to you, I want this, and you either say yes or no. And there's other people involved. But in terms of there ain't that extra layer of the club is the one that normally makes it difficult because they want so much money, and I don't know. It's literally a geezer without a job, and you're going to him and go, "Do you want to play for us?" And he goes, "Yes, please."
If he goes Everton, then I can see that he's just about the money because you look at Everton, they've just sold their best player. They've got an owner that's obviously been looking to sell. They've got financial fair play restrictions. He's not going to get anywhere close to the England team, there.
The only thing going in Everton's favour is that Lingard is based up that way. So he's only if he is about a location, then Everton had a bad season last year, and as you said, they've just sold their best player, so they're not going in the right direction already.
Do you think
a couple of signings? And
do you think though they might have had indication about Lingard because would they have let Richarlison go if they hadn't?
I think
there's no way they could have decided that. Yeah, they needed the money. Richarlison wanted to go. I think he did. He kept him up basically single-handedly, and I think that they probably had a little agreement or something at the time, and they got as much as they can out of him. And I think they would have sold him regardless, even if Lingard had already been a West Ham player. They would have sold him. I think that's that. Yeah. So it'll be interesting.
It's just frustrating because we're standing still and everyone else is pulling way ahead of us. And at the moment, it's we could be looking at 10th, 11th, 12th place finish if we don't get some.
To be honest, mate, I think we're still on course. I still think we're on course. I think the two bits of business that we've done are, and I'm not normally sort of positive, but I do think there's people coming through the door. I do think.
I don't want it to be like every other window where it's like, it gets to deadline day and we're all praying. So we're going to sign. Look, I know we haven't got. We're saying, like I said, it's all media talk.
Graham, 2 first-team players on the 1st of July is good for West Ham,
and they're two starters as well. They improved the first team. Listen, I love Fabianski. He's been a great servant for West Ham, but next season Areola has to be number one. He has to be number one. And that's 2 good goalkeepers you got there. You got a great backup in Fabianski who won't let you down. And we've got another. Well, I'll say we haven't seen him play in the Premier League, but he looks decent, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in a West Ham shirt.
Yeah, and the big thing is Zuma will get to play on the right hand side, which is his preferred side, and you have someone that's a left side, it's centre back playing on the left. So. And you see what I
just want to maintain the momentum we've built up over the last 2 years. We've had 2 great seasons, good run in Europe. I want to do that again next season. I'd love to see us go on another European run.
Graham, you support West Ham. We can't have that, mate. We've got to go back to being shit. I miss the relegation battles.
I just think once we get over the Lingard stuff, we get past this one way or another, I think that will be a big distraction out of the way and we can sort of focus more on what we're doing.
They should just go send one person to just negotiate that and just say to me, like, let me know when it's done. Or not.
Well, Jesse Lingard was out in New York the week after. I wish I knew he was out there. I stayed out there and tried to fucking persuade him myself.
Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? But
I think I said this last week though, right? That man is 29 years old. Yeah, and he's a great player, and I liked him and all that. But I've said this about him before. He is cringe as fuck. Like, what is he doing? With all these TikToks and all this sort of thing. I know he's enjoying himself and all that, but fuck me, man.
It's the world we live in, mate. There's a lot of other celebrities out there that do a lot worse. If my player's dancing, I'd rather see my player dancing on a TikTok video than falling out of a nightclub and fighting with people and bringing the club, into in a bad name. So that's how he wants to crack on. As long as he does it on the pitch, I don't care what he does off the field.
It's just a wind up, in it, that we're waiting to sign him. We're hoping to sign him. We're like, fucking, he's dancing and we're stressing about his transfer. If he'd have signed for us, we'd be loving it, wouldn't we? He'd be like, yeah, fucking dance, So that's what's frustrating us, isn't it?
Right, let's take a few comments. Has anyone been starring in it as we've been going, or do I have to go through them?
No, I didn't. I don't know. I thought we were supposed to be starting.
Okay. The Lingard saga is getting boring, says Kevin Stevenson. Move on and sign someone else. Nicky, I reckon you're going to be right yet again, and we will end up with another underwhelming transfer. I never said that this time. I never said that. I said I think we're on course for a decent transfer window this time. We've not normally got anyone through the door by now, to be honest. I might be completely wrong. I might just be remembering it wrong. Steve W.H.U. Bell, you're looking well and rested, guys. You couldn't be further from the fucking truth, if I'm honest with you. Paulie Walnut says, all top 6 seem to be signing good players. So 7th to 11th is another set of teams. Tired of Lingard, says Lewis. To be honest, if he wanted to come, we would have signed him ages ago. Move on and get players that will come. We haven't got time to mess about. 100k, take it or leave it, then move on. No, I think he's worth a bit more than 100k in regards to what we've had in the past. Ian Moore, if anyone thinks we're going to get the same Lingard again, then they're deluded as fuck. Move on. I don't know about that. Dan Bowers is the Areola signing is great, and the fact that he's on a 5-year deal, in my opinion, he should be our starting Premier League goalkeeper and have Fabs start for the cups and potential UECL group matches. Talk of a massive signing on fee, says Victor Fenn. Yeah, of course they're going to be negotiating the signing on fee. He's a free transfer. I'm beginning to be put off by Lingard. Greed ain't a good look. Just want Lingard to sign for anyone. He won't be completely dead in the water until he's tied down somewhere. If he wanted to come, he would have done already, says Jason Croucher. A couple of people saying Zuma's on £125,000 a week. Just makes his head bigger, chasing him, and he loves that. He does seem to like the limelight, Jesse Lingard. I think Lingard enjoyed his time here, but I think ideally he'd like to join a bigger club. He's all about brand, and after playing with Ronaldo, I suspect he'd like to join a Champions League club. Nicky wishes he was a Spurs fan now. He's going on about them more than ours. Am I?
You haven't mentioned Spurs tonight, have you? You haven't mentioned Spurs.
Well, I think I did, but they're doing good business. You got to look at the blueprint there. Agree, Nicky. Why JL makes his mind up? Get a move on and get KLP.
He's KLP? Going Brentford. What's his name? The whole lad.
Lewis Potter.
They've already agreed something, a deal for him. I think it's 15 mil rising to 20. Brentford.
Paulie Walnut says it's all a game of pretending to be interested in the players. Yeah, it is like a big game at the end of the day. It can only come down to wage demand, says Leicester City fan. And Lingard wants, which may be putting Ball off wanting to commit to doing so. You have to do something, mate. That's what he wants. You're going to have to do something. CW always seem to put all our eggs in one basket when he goes tits up. We're bollocks. I don't know. I don't think we're bollocks yet. As I said, I think that the transfer window is on course, but I think even still, I think it can go tits up with knowing West Ham. I've known them to be fucking linked, do a couple of deals early, and then be linked as people all fucking transfer and do fuck all else. So, Film Watch says still thinking about that Black Snake story from the Patreon, Nicky. Yeah, man. We told that on the podcast last week. Sooner give 2 of our standout young players a new contract. Fuck Jay Lings, who was over the moon. That leads us nicely into the next segment, I suppose. Sonny Perkins has left the club, which it's been on the cards for a few weeks now. It's contract release day, isn't it? Because everyone that was under contract, their contracts expired yesterday. So everyone that was under a contract is a free agent today. And Sonny Perkins left. Is anyone disappointed?
Not really. He probably is never going to make it in the first team. People would just seem to be more upset because he hasn't sort of signed the new contract. But look, if he was that, if the club wanted him that much, they probably would have given him a bit more money. But he's obviously been tapped up by the club's response tonight and their statement. It looks like he's been tapped up by another club. So
what was the statement? You got it in front of you?
I've got it here if you want me to read it.
yeah.
It says West Ham United invests millions of pounds annually into its world-renowned Academy of Football, and naturally the club is extremely disappointed that Sonny has chosen not to continue his development with the Hammers. The club is disappointed with Perkins' representatives and strongly believed he was approached to sign for another club, which led to him asking to be released from his scholarship at West Ham United. West Ham United take this matter very seriously. We believe the rules and structures in place at the Football Association and Premier League should be upheld at all times. So
they,
Yeah,
I mean,
so it looks like he's been tapped up, doesn't it? So if that's the case, then Tata.
well, he's linked with Villa, isn't he? It was Villa, I think, was the big club linked.
I think Leeds are sniffing round as well. I think it's Leeds as well.
And Ngakia was the same. What's happened to him? Who was the other one? I can't even think of his name. The other one that went to Watford. His name's gone out of my head. Was he the Portuguese one?
Linked with Barcelona or all that?
Yeah. I can't think of his name. It's gone out of my head. But he's another one. Reece Oxford. You know, had one good game at Arsenal away, and all of a sudden he thought he was Yaya Toure.
Keena.
That's it, Quina. But you know, these players, and not only that, these young players these days, the worst thing that they've got is they've got an agent in their ear.
Yeah.
And their agents don't care about their football career. All their agents care about is earning as much money as they can out of them and as soon as they can. And if he gets a move to Aston Villa or wherever and he gets a nice little signing on fee, then good luck to him. I mean, someone just said there about Josh Cullen. Listen, Josh Cullen wanted to stay at West Ham, but he knew he wasn't going to get first team opportunities and he was offered a chance to go to Anderlecht. Got no problem with that. Cullen, there are rumours that Cullen might even be coming back to West Ham. So I'm on about the players like Reece Oxford, who, as I said, had one good game against Arsenal, and it went to his head. He was demanding this and that, and look at him now. I think
he's doing well.
Yeah, he's doing well, but he's out in Germany, and it took him a long time to. He's 23 now. He was 16 when he made his West Ham debut. He went to Reading, couldn't cut it. It's these young players.
Like you say, though, it's just that the agents just want to make as much commission out of their clients as they can. They're the ones that start up a lot of the transfer rumours, and like as I said the other week, they're the scourge of the game.
Great. The problem with youngsters at the moment, a lot of young, not all youngsters, because there are youngsters that knuckle down. Look at Declan Rice. There's a lot of youngsters now who just want everything now. They want it all.
Yeah, they don't want to work.
They're not willing to train harder. They're not willing to work harder. They're not willing to go on loan and then come back and train harder and get in David Moyes' head or whoever the manager is. Because we've seen it under Pellegrini, we've seen it under Bilic, we've seen it under Allardyce over the years. These youngsters just want it so mad. They want to be driving around in Ferraris, living in mansions and things like that. Listen, you've got to work hard as a youngster. These players that are at the top level now, they worked harder. When we used to go down the training ground, we used to see Frank Lampard, Rio, Carrick, Cole scrubbing boots. I know they don't do that anymore, but they was only on like 100 quid a week, YTS scheme. Now, these players now, they're demanding 40, 50 grand a week because they train with the first team.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you can have academy players on 50 grand a week driving around in like Mercs and BMWs and that. They haven't made a first team appearance yet.
But you hear Declan Rice when he talks about, when he was a youngster, he said he would just practice. He would train, then he'd practice certain things on the pitch. He would put in that extra time, I think, to get to where he was. But I think
the state. Sorry, Dan, go on.
Yeah, but no, I was going to say, I think it just seems like West Ham are not going to let this lie, and they're going to be.
The state of football these days is that these kids are coming through these academies and getting to a level where they're being sort of traveling with the first team and all that, and their ambition is not to play football. Their ambition is to make as much money as they can. Yeah, and I think prime example, and I don't think he'll ever leave my head, Ravel Morrison, because he was he had all the talent in the world. I believe, right, when you talk about people like Alex Song was talking about him like he was the best footballer he's ever played with, you know, who was the best you've ever trained with. Now, bear in mind, Alex Song spent a good portion of his career in probably the greatest football team that's ever graced the planet, the Barcelona team of 2010. And he used to train with like Xavi and Iniesta or whatever. And he says, Ravel Morrison was the most naturally talented footballer he's ever seen. So in that aspect, potentially Ravel Morrison could have been the best footballer in the world. Potentially.
I don't think Ravel Morrison was down to money though. I just think it was the people he was surrounded with. Like
it was money when he left Manchester United, right? And this is why Ferguson had just had enough of him. He came through the academy, and I think the reason he just had too many chances at Manchester United. I think the last straw. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong, but this is what I remember the story. He went in and asked for £30,000 a week, and Ferguson laughed at him, and he went, "No, I want £30,000 a week." He went, "Well, you're not going to get anywhere near that," and all that sort of thing. And then his attitude went, but for natural talent,
when he came to West Ham, he was only on about 12, 15 grand a week.
Yeah, he was on 15, I believe. I think 15, yeah. But Ferguson rung Allardyce as said to him, "Look, take him because he's unbelievable, and so he's got to do something in the game. Someone needs to sort him out." And Allardyce was a good friend of Ferguson's, but no one ever did sort him out. And look at him now; he's playing for Derby County. I think he's just about. They want him to sign a new contract, but obviously Derby could have gone extinct. I think they found out today that they're not going to go extinct.
Yeah, they just avoided the chop, so which is good news. Don't want to see another club go to the wall.
No, but so that's where your career can go. And look, it is all about hard work. Frank Lampard Jr. was not the most talented footballer on the world, and he would admit that himself. But he fucking worked hard on his game. He was there training, working hard, and he made himself into one of the best midfielders the Premier League's ever seen. And he was probably one of the best midfielders in the world in his peak. So it's not all about earning that money early. If you're good enough, you earn that money.
The thing is, Nick, it's like Ryan was saying earlier about when you used to go to the training ground, you see players like Rio and Lampard and all that cleaning the boots. Back in the days, like when players like Bobby Moore and all that, when they were taken on as apprentices, they used to work in the office. They used to have to paint the stands during the close season and all that, clean the stands out underneath, and that to really graft.
But
then go training.
I think it was the PFA that stopped them from doing that. It might have been child labour laws.
Yeah, I know, but the point I'm making is like they worked hard and they still had to go training, so they put the graft in.
No, I think,
and they weren't on anywhere near the money they're on now.
The problem with youngsters, what the FA need to do is they need to set up something where youngsters can't have agents until a certain age, and they need to set up a scheme where youngsters under a certain age, no matter what club they are at, they can only earn up to a certain amount. So they know they can't go to another club and say, right, I'm going to go and get 10 grand now. It's ridiculous because so many listen, you have to be, you've got to be very, very talented to make it. But you don't always have to have the talent. As long as you've got the dedication and hard work. Listen, Mark Noble, we've just seen him retire. He wasn't the most talented midfielder, but he worked hard and he's had a great career at West Ham. We've seen many players like that down the years. You don't always have to have the talent, but it seems the more talent you've got, and you have a good game in the Carling Cup, and all of a sudden you think you're Messi. This is what I'm saying. It's a joke. Like the FA need to step in and do something. But the problem is with that is then you'll just get foreign clubs coming in and just taking them. So
no, talent is nothing without hard work, and it doesn't seem. I think that's one of the worst things that's happened to football. Is the demise of the YTS scheme, because it was instilled into them. Like somebody just said there, do you want midfielders or
Yeah, but
janitors.
that's not the point I was making. The point I'm making is they had to put. It wasn't about you're a great player. There's loads of money. They had to work hard to get where they were in the end.
What are you upset for?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, like you're saying, you want goals, you want janitors.
No, I never said that.
But what? No, I know you're not. I saw the comment. It's saying like you want, but the point I was making is, it wasn't. Oh, right. There's a contract. We'll hand everything to you on a plate. They had to work for what they got.
I'm trying to make
You
this
know what I
point. I'm trying to make this point. It's that they have to. It's all about learning to work hard.
Yeah.
You have to work hard. You have to work hard. You have to, you have to put everything. I know people from when I was a kid that went, I know people that played with Jermaine Defoe, yeah, and Jermaine Defoe went on to have a wonderful career. But I know people that were more talented than Jermaine Defoe, better players than Jermaine Defoe. What?
I'll put my hand up. I'm only joking.
Oh, sorry.
Where are you looking when you're going on these speeches, Nick? Because how did you not see Ryan stick his hand up?
But my computer's here.
Yeah.
And my camera's here.
Well, fucking hell, that's a bit of a gulf, yeah. I was going to say.
I can't make it float. Yeah, but I know players that were more talented than Jermaine Defoe and better players than Jermaine Defoe. They never made it because of their attitude, and they never made it in football. Full stop. You know what I mean? And that's where a lot of these players, it's about hard work. It's about doing as the manager tells you. It's about learning. You know what I mean? Like you get some of these players that are really good players. By the time they're 18, they think they fucking know they know everything. And it's
just like anything. It's any walk of life, isn't it? If you want something so bad, if you don't work for it, you're not going to get it. You don't just get given to you. Things don't get given to you in life. You want to be a fucking boxer. You do the road runs. You get in the gym. You graft. You want to be a rugby player. You're the same. Whatever you want to do in life. You want to be an accountant. You want to be whatever. You have to work for it. It ain't just given to you. I know some people are lucky in life where things are given to them, but it don't mean they're talented. They've just been lucky. But the hardest workers always go to the top. That's life, and that's how it is.
Yeah.
We ain't really spoke about the sort of repercussions of what West Ham from that message, and could West Ham be successful by taking whatever club he signs to or whatever club they're saying or speculating that it's tapping him up? Could West Ham be successful at sort of legal battle?
Yeah, they'll get like
tribunal.
Yeah, they'll settle on a tribunal, won't they?
So West Ham could get a bit of money out of it. Clubs have been. I'm trying to think whether it was Man City or Chelsea that got in real hot water for tapping up. One of them got done. I can't remember if that was Chelsea's transfer ban or Liverpool.
Yeah, it was Chelsea, wasn't it? Was it Chelsea? Sure,
it might have been. Yeah, but you can get the penalties can be severe for tapping up, and you could potentially get a transfer ban.
You have to prove it.
That would be, if you can prove it. I mean, that would be fatal for Liverpool, for Leeds, or if it is Leeds, if they get whacked.
A lot of people are saying it's Tottenham.
So I see some people say he's a Tottenham fan in the.
There's no. What is the point of him going to? He's got no chance at Tottenham, is he? Let's be honest. He's not going to get.
I'd heard Tottenham. I'd heard Villa and Leeds.
Yeah. So
he'll probably end up at somewhere like Luton.
Well, he will.
With the rest of
the ex-players, haven't they?
With all due respect, how old is he? 18? 19?
18.
With all due respect, if he was the real special talent that you thought he was, or like a Rooney-esque sort of player or anything like that, he would have been spoke about more. I hear more about Okoflex and fucking people like that than him. And but
he got into the first team before Okoflex, though.
And two, he would have been in the first team more regular. They would have been bleeding him in.
Judging from that statement, it seems the club do rate him to a degree for the way that they've come out about this. And
yeah, I've never seen the club release a statement like that after a youngster's left. So yeah, they're obviously someone that they,
No, I think it's more about the fact that someone's had him over. I don't think it's the player. I think if you know, it's just the tapping up that I think they smell blood. To be honest with you, and they think, right, that's it. He's been tapped up by so and so. They know. They've got people out there that know. They're not
The
going to
thing
release
is, though, West Ham can't sit there and say they've never tapped up a player in their life.
Of course,
it goes on. Of course, it goes on. West Ham are probably tapping someone up now as we speak. So it happens in football.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see where he goes and what he does. It will be interesting. But I see in other news, I just see that Crow, obviously he's left West Ham and he put a nice message, but he suspended his contract or has cancelled his contract with Spartak Moscow. Going back. So he's left two clubs in the same day.
The thing is, he didn't have I wouldn't say a fair crack. He just didn't seem, Moyes didn't really rate him. But for him to not play hardly any football for us and leave and say thank you to the club and the fans says a lot about him as a man. So he gets my respect. So fair play to him.
Yeah, a lot of players would feel, a bit of animosity, I think, and would be a bit salty. But he didn't seem salty at all. And obviously, he suspended his contract with Spartak. So hopefully, he gets picked up by a decent club and has a good career. There's a player there. Obviously, there's. It's just if he can get the right fit, the right club, and the right league. Hopefully
he's an international football player, so he obviously is a talented player. It's just sometimes it don't, now in our luck, he'll probably end up going somewhere like Everton on a free and become fucking one of the players of the season.
Yeah,
that's just what happens. But
it just means now it's just Rice and Souček as our two defensive midfielders now, with Noble and Crow leaving.
Yeah, because officially Mark Noble is no longer a West Ham player from today. Mad, isn't it? Mad saying that after all this time.
Oh no. Ben Johnson taking over sweeping duties in the dressing room. Good on him.
Yeah.
Sweep. Dan, take some comments, mate, please.
Speaking of Noble, though, if you're interested, Mark Noble's autobiography comes out in November. But if you go onto WH Smith's website now, you can get it for £11 and it's signed.
Who have they revealed? Because someone told me that they're doing the audio book, but they haven't revealed who's reading it.
I'm reading it.
Fucking hell.
They'll probably get someone like fucking Danny Dyer to do it or someone like that.
It's me. I'm going to be like that. And I went into the changing room.
I'd love for someone to get like Joe Pasquale to do it or something like that.
I reckon it'd be someone like James Corden or Russell Brand or someone like that.
Fuck listening to him.
Yeah, fucking James Corden. When is Oko? So let's get some comments. When is Oko Flex going to get a proper chance? I really hope that the Conference League, it will be an opportunity of him to see some games.
Pre-season as well. Pre-season's a good time for these youngsters to show what they can do.
Yeah.
There was a couple of youngsters that because of international duty, could have went and had an extended break, but they've decided to return early.
That's the attitude you got to have. Just what we was talking about. Could be an IB for his mates, but no, they want to train. That's the attitude you want.
A lot of chat about Perkins going Spurs. I don't know what people have heard and what they've seen.
I think it's come out and an X has confirmed it.
Yeah, weird choice for him because now they've got Kane, then they've got Richarlison who can also play up front. If Kane's not playing there, he can obviously play on the wing and play up front.
I think to be fair, mate, right? Let me just quickly before going off a bit off subject. I think that Richarlison transfer is fucking mental. Like,
I don't get why you don't rate him. I don't see how you don't rate Richarlison. I think
he's an attacker and he scores 10 goals a season. And
for a shit team. For a shit team.
He reminds me a lot of Arnautovic with his attitude and the way he plays. But listen, I would have had him at West Ham. I think he's a decent player. As Dan said, he was in a shit Everton team. To be in a team with Harry Kane and Son as well. They could be the best three forwards. Like they could compete with Liverpool, but they're probably the three most hated players in the Premier League as well. So
I think it's one of those. Like, obviously, you look at Everton fans absolutely loved him, absolutely gutted he's leaving. It says a lot about him. I
Yeah,
think
there's
his
got to be
personality-
something there, isn't there? Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at it with obviously sort of
West
like
Ham
different
claret
eyes.
glasses. Yeah.
But there's got to be something there for him to be loved that much. I mean, they paid £50 million for him from Watford, wasn't it?
Yeah, was it not last January, the January before when Barcelona come in to buy him for like 70, 80 million, wasn't it? And then
Really?
Everton turned it down. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it, they're paying Spurs are paying 50 mil plus add-ons. I don't know what them add-ons are. They get in, I think, 10 mil for Dele Alli. If they do sell, they're trying to sell another player to Everton to offset.
What, they got money for Dele Alli?
I think it was like 10 mil. I think
weren't Everton are linked with Harry Winks as well, so they'll probably get some sort of deal out of that as well.
Yeah.
So
because that's a shoddy signing if you ask me. So yeah, I honestly I've been having this debate. I know it's not West Ham, but I would have Richarlison over Gabriel Jesus any day of the week.
But this is why I don't think Jesse Lingard will go to Everton. I think Everton will go down next year.
I can see it.
They need it. They, as I said, like at the end of the season, they needed to strengthen because they all breathed that sigh of relief when Calvert-Lewin saved them and all that sort of thing. But they're so bad. They are so bad that if you don't strengthen and sign the right players, I said they'll be in trouble again next year. And they're now actively selling them. Which
Richarlison carried that team on his back. He absolutely carried them, and now he's gone. And if Calvert-Lewin can't find his form, and they can't get their signings right, mate, I agree. I don't really rate Lingard as a manager either. So
Lingard,
fucking Lampard.
Dan's got Lingard on the brain.
I think it's a bit harsh on Lampard. I think he wants to play a certain way, and I said this about Everton. I think Everton got lucky in the end. I thought, but they want to play a certain way, but he just hasn't got the players to play that way. They just haven't got the players.
Yeah, I mean, Everton coming off of that season, and the first thing they do is sell their best player. It ain't a good look, is it? So I think they will struggle again next season.
Yeah, and they've got all this takeover talks, and they've got financial fair play. It's mad. It's going to be absolutely mad for them. So glad it's not us.
I think this is a mad comment. This one. When does Moyes' credit in the bank run out?
I think it's a fair question. I think that's a fair question.
Yeah.
He's not saying Moyes' credit has run out. He's asking when does it run out?
No, but the thing is, I think it's the fact that people are even thinking that way at the moment, Dan, after the last two seasons we've had.
I think that's mental. I think it's a mental thing to say.
No,
we've just had two fantastic seasons. I mean, I'll get.
Graham, you're really loud, man.
I'm really loud. Do you want me to turn
maybe what he's getting at is that, like, obviously, we have a transfer window. If we go into another transfer window without signing a recognised striker, and it's the way we start the season, can we question David Moyes and sort of put it all down to him? Listen, I think Moyes has done fantastic, and every transfer, every pre-season is a start. Whatever's gone on the previous season, it's a new season, so it's how we start. And listen, every manager, apart from probably Liverpool and City, every manager in the Premier League is always under the scope from their fans. You know what I mean? So.
It's a fair question. It's a fair question to ask, but I think we're after the two seasons we've had, I think we're a little way off of that yet.
Yeah, I don't think it runs out yet. I think, like, for me, this transfer window is crucial. Seems to be money there. To me, the quality of the signings are on Moyes. He seems to have power to say yes or no. And I'm not hearing anything about this is a Sullivan signing, this is a Moyes signing. To me, whoever comes through is a Moyes signing, because clearly he would have said no. The
only gripe I would have with Moyes, like I say, I think he's been fantastic for us the last 2.5 seasons. And I know he likes to work, it's quite common knowledge he likes to work with a small group of players. But unfortunately, the way the game is now,
maybe you should go.
You can't really do that.
Maybe you should go managing the midget league.
I mean, Gary's just said it there. A lot of fans will hold that against Moyes not getting a striker in January that cost us maybe top 4 and maybe even the Europa League. So, I mean, that's the ifs and buts. We can't blame that all on Moyes and that not signing the striker, because we might have signed 2 players that might have upset the dressing room and we might not got as far. So you can never say that, but a lot of fans will hold that against him.
But yeah. I mean, look, the last 2 seasons have been fantastic. Like, when was the last time we had 2 really good seasons consecutively? I can't remember it.
But that's what gives him credit in the bank. And
So, but I don't think we're at the stage yet where we need to start getting on his case.
We are nowhere near sort of like that situation, absolutely. But I think Ryan's completely correct. This is it for me, because this is crucial. This is crucial in, like, and look, in football, if you want to be successful, you've got no room for sentiment at all. Yeah. Like, if we'd have signed a player 10 years ago that was better than Mark Noble, then Mark Noble don't play. If you want to be successful, yeah. So if he now has a transfer window when he doesn't sign a striker, for me, questions have to start being asked, right? Because look, I've sat here and I've said it's the bald and this and this, and I've sat here saying it's the bald, because I'm used to it, right? Now, he's decided to take full responsibility, yeah, for it. It's nothing to do with them, it's all to do with me, so I have to take responsibility for it. Fine. So you've said that, yeah. So I can't turn around no more and say it's the ball. I know the games that they like to play, and there's always going to be, like, you know, with the deals, there's always going to be game playing, but ultimately the responsibility is down to him. Yeah, he's turned around and said himself, yeah, whether it's true or not, whether he's covering from or not, that's down to him. If he wants to take the flak, he's going to have to take the flak. Yeah. So if we go into a transfer window now, yeah, finish his transfer window without a recognised striker, yeah, questions have to be asked about him, because you've got to sit there and think, like, what is going on? Like, he's had fucking 2 years now to think about a striker. He doesn't seem to be able to, to make up his mind on a centre forward. Centre forward is crucial. Centre forward is crucial for us this year. I think it's a bit of a joke that we've gone 18 months without one. Yeah, it's a bit of a joke, but there have been, as Ryan said, a couple of, like, last, I think, January, if we'd have got a striker, we probably wouldn't have got Lingard, which probably, a striker probably wouldn't have come in and scored 10 goals like he did, but they could have, if we'd have got one in January, he could have scored the goals to put us into the Champions League, or the geezer could have flopped so hard that we didn't score the goals that we got enough to get into the Europa Conference League. You know what I mean? Like, there's these scenarios. But if he hasn't made his mind up about a centre forward and has him signed by the end of this transfer window, you've got to start to say, come on, like, what the fuck is going on? Because this is you can't go into a season with 5 centre backs, but 1 centre forward that isn't a centre forward. It's not. I'd still,
even if we don't do what we need to do in the transfer window, I'd still say, listen, Moyes, you've had your time to get the window right. This is how you've gone about it. Now let's see what you do in the season with what you've got, because he's still got a chance, be given a chance to prove what he can do with this team, even if he hasn't signed a centre forward or whatever. It's like, okay, that's your decision. Let's see now how that pays off for you. And if we end up, falling down the table, then there has to be not him being sacked straight away, but an element of pressure. And he's going to have to be responsible and have that pressure to fix that and correct it. He's got the credit in the bank, but it's not unlimited.
He's going to have to fall on his sword, because he's the one that's sitting there and taking responsibility for it. If you want to take responsibility for it, you're the one that's going to take the praise, then you're going to have to take the flak.
Exactly.
And to be fair, I think Moyes does that. And I think the end of the last season, the way it ended, might have given Moyes that kick up the arse, because It's what we need. As you said, we listen. We all know we need a striker to come in. We know that. I've been crying out for one for so long now. But listen, every manager outside, as I said, Liverpool and City, well, maybe not even them, are only 5 or 6 defeats away from losing their job. So if we go on a bad run, it's easier for a manager to get the sack these days because of social media with the fans' reactions, and it puts pressure on the board, and managers get sacked so easy these days. So, but look, let's hope that we start off the season flying. And I know a lot of people are saying about Man City first game. I'll be honest, don't really bother me. I think we've given
City, at some point.
Listen, it's not even that great. I think that we've given City decent games over the past couple of seasons, and we proved that in our last home game of the season when we drew 2-2 with them. When we should have got more out of that game, but it's how we start the season. So
yeah.
Well, let's go ask us anything.
So I just put this one up. Andrew Bailey. Can I have a shout out to my cousin Jamie? Sadly passed away at 32. Was suicide, but he was a huge fan of your channel. Was a Basildon boy as well. Really, really sad to hear that.
Sorry for your loss, mate.
So big shout out to Andrew. Obviously, appreciate. He's a fan of the channel, and it's obviously sad to lose one of the West Ham family, and one of the West Ham fan TV family.
Sad. It's no age at all, is it? And
no.
Suicide. It's tough. It's tough. But thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, to everyone. And big
sending lots of love out, mate.
Be having a drink for you. Before we get that one up, before we go into Ask Us Anything, I just wanted to put this little update on the Perkins thing. I just seen X post, but I just thought it might be of interest based on what we spoke about. So apparently, it was about wages. So his agent was asking for a large wage, and this contract stalling has alerted a number of clubs, including Leeds and Villa. If the player does leave due to his age, West Ham will be entitled to compensation. Then he's also just said he's meant to be going Leeds, but Spurs, the club he supports, has made a late move, and his decision is now between Leeds or Spurs. So that's where it lies. But we'll get some money out of it anyway. So we'll see. And I think
there is another argument for Sonny. You know what I mean? Especially if he ends up going Leeds and is that maybe they just don't think that they get the opportunities in the first team.
He'll get more of an opportunity at Leeds than he would West Ham.
Their owner's got a big youth drive there that he's come out and said that he wants young players, he wants to develop the youth, and that seems to be where he's pushing. So with Bamford being injury prone, and if I don't know if they're getting another striker, I think he's more likely to get a chance at Leeds than he is West Ham or Spurs or even Aston Villa. I think that could be the best possible chance, but he's a Spurs fan, so that might tempt him. I didn't even know. Yeah, no wonder he weren't so wedded to staying at West Ham if he's a Spurs fan.
Yeah, and I think, like you say, I think he'd have more opportunities to get first team football at probably Leeds if he went there. But I think Villa or Leeds would be his, if he's looking for regular football, would be his best bet.
Yeah. So get your questions in.
Yeah.
Anything? Football, non-football?
I've got one here. It says, realistically, lads, where do you think we'd finish with all these other clubs spending and strengthening? I'd say, who's all these other clubs? Tottenham? Yeah, they've spent. Man United ain't bought a fucking single soul yet.
Well, they've. I think they're just about to sign. They're on the brink of signing a few players. I've just seen.
They've always been on the brink of signing for people down for the last month.
Let's be real, like they're gonna bring in. So they've got Ten Hag in. They've let a few players go now, like the Lingard.
No, I'm not saying that they ain't gonna bring people in, but I'm just saying, like he's saying, all of these other clubs, 8th and all of that sort of thing. Who? Villa and Newcastle.
Aston Villa.
Yeah, and
Newcastle. Tarkowski looks like he signed forever. Not that I'm saying that we're gonna, but I'm talking about clubs that have done business. Spurs, obviously.
I still think we're a better team than both Newcastle and Villa by quite a way, to be honest.
But we at the moment we just don't have that depth that we need. And I look at like Villa and Newcastle, what they built. I think they're capable of getting the players into to have that depth where we can be derailed by one injury or two injuries. Like if Souček or Rice gets injured, that could be very shaky.
It ain't finished yet. Chill out.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But look, I think we got to get left back, defensive midfielder, and a striker at the very least. Ideally, we'd like another like sort of attacking midfielder or winger. But
Wait. Who gave us a good run?
I think they're talking about sort of Newcastle where they picked up at the end of the season and Wolves. You know, because
down to the wire.
Well, mate. Well, if we hadn't have got the points in the bank earlier in the season, we wouldn't have finished in where we finished in the end because our running wasn't fantastic.
That's the most retarded thing I think I've ever heard in my life. If we hadn't have picked up the points, we wouldn't have finished where we finished. Of course, we wouldn't have.
No, but what I'm saying is, Nick, we had a poor run at the end of the season. Let's be honest, we had a poor run the last 7 or 8 games, and they picked up. So that's what they're saying. If we hadn't got the points on the board earlier in the season, they would have caught us. That's what I'm saying.
But then they must have had poor runs as well.
Yeah, but they still give us a. Why are you digging me out? I'm just saying.
They
had good runs at the end of the season, and they could have caught us if we hadn't had the run we had earlier in the season.
That's stupid. Anyone could have caught anyone.
I think what.
I won't say anything.
He's going to turn his camera off then.
If
bollocks to you, I'm going home.
You've got to bear in mind, I don't think Newcastle got a win in their first 14 games.
And they weren't far behind us.
They didn't, at one point I was looking at the table thinking to myself, fucking hell, they could overtake us. But I think they lost a couple of games, didn't they? And we picked up a few points. But
they were a different animal under Eddie Howe. That's for sure. Than they were under Steve Bruce. And I think that was
a different animal after they got £1 billion in the bank. That's what they were.
Well, let's be fair though. Let's be fair to them. Because I've given them a lot of shit. But really and truly, the players, when you look at their change in form, it happens sort of just before the window. And then the players that are in the team as they get better post-January are mostly the players that they already had. I think turning Joe Linton into a world beater was a big part of their success. And I think Eddie Howe needs to get a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, and they went out and bought established Premier League players, didn't they? Not big names. They went out and got, was it Dan Burn from Brighton?
Yeah, Chris Wood. Did they get Chris Wood?
They got Chris Wood from Burnley. He didn't really do much, but they took him from one of their rivals. So, and they also got Trippier, who obviously got injured. But yeah,
I think and like I think to Graham's point,
Newcastle only lost to City and Liverpool in the second half.
Which is what I'm saying. Newcastle, bearing in mind they didn't win.
They got pasted by fucking Tottenham. I mean, arses handed to them.
Yeah,
but we were losing to the likes of Brighton and that. So
I think the point is we're not
in the European semi-final. Great.
Hey,
we was also in a European semi-final.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying you're really not having it, are you?
Yeah,
you're really not going to have it.
Point, Nick, because
I'm saying they could, if the season had gone on for another 2 or 3 weeks, Newcastle probably would have caught us.
No, the thing is, Nick, you take that. What we do is we look at that form towards the end of the season, and you think, right, okay, that maybe sets a tone for where we could be at for next season. You look at Leicester; they finished that season before they won the league on. Everyone forgets about that. They stayed up and they finished on brilliant form, and they carried that into the next season. The point is, we weren't. As things stand in recent history, we weren't a million miles away from these other teams. So if we stagnate and we don't have the window that we need to have, we can get overtaken. Like I said, the gap is not big.
I mean, we're saying we had even Brighton had a good run towards the end of the season. You know, they were up there.
Right. The thing is, we had a end of season run, but the games come thick and fast for us.
The thing is, with the rest of the Premier League, is that take away the so-called top 6, where we finished top of that league. So other teams below us will look at West Ham, look at us, and think, right, now we've got to aim to see we want to aim to finish around 6, but hoping to push into that top 6. Other teams below us, like you look at Wolves, they started off the season decent and they sort of fell away towards the end. Leicester fell away towards the end, but they're only 2 or 3 wins away from going above us. So there's a group of teams now that West Ham are in, but there's teams now below us that will be improving, trying to get into that group. So
they'll be looking at us as the team to catch. So they'll be progressing, and it'll be more difficult to finish in that 6th, 7th, 8th spot.
But yeah, we can't get complacent.
Yeah, there's more competition. I would say there's more competition because, by definition, Newcastle weren't competition last year. They just weren't until they got their money, and then they started picking up wins and But there's different factors. I think there's different factors in the season because West Ham could have gone out of Europe in the group stages, and I think that would have completely redefined the season. It would have completely.
Oh yeah, I've said this before that if we didn't have to play in Europe last season, we probably would have finished 4th above Spurs.
Yeah, but then we wouldn't have had all the memories of the European run, would we?
Yeah, but
so it swings and.
But
I know what you're saying.
We need a team that's capable of competing on those fronts. We need that depth.
To be fair, I think with the European run we had, where we finished, and bearing in mind we had no recognised striker, I think we done well last season. We scored every home Premier League game we scored in as well. We scored tons of goals at home in Europe. So it's I think we've done really well last season. We could have had that European run and got to the semi-final, but we could have been 5th from bottom.
In the grand scheme of things, it's progress, and it's definitely something to look at. The worry is that we want to stay here, and we don't want to be overtaken. So the season, I think, as a whole, was good.
But let's be fair, right? In terms of where we were last season, and this is where, you look at Tottenham, you look at Arsenal, you look at Newcastle, you look at all of these people that had they had decent ends of the season, Brighton as well. I think fighting on 2 fronts, like actually fighting on 2 fronts, is a bigger achievement than just finishing in the top 6, in the top 4, because you fought in 2 different competitions. I know we finished 7th, and it was disappointing, but we could have pipped Man United. Man United had fuck all. They had nothing to compete with. They went out of Europe early. Yeah, same as Arsenal didn't have Europe at all. Tottenham went out of Europe early. Brighton didn't have Europe at all. Newcastle, not at all. They was just concentrating on one. And I think progress for us to finish 6th, and then 7th the next year, and fight on and I mean genuinely fight on the front. If we'd have beat Frankfurt, we'd have won that Europa League. I've got no fucking doubt about it. No doubt about it.
But the thing, isn't it? We're talking about the future, though, is where you look at, when you actually look at some of the performances.
I do understand, and we could have make it difficult again this year because at the end of the day, Brighton, Newcastle, Villa, they don't have Europe again. We do have Europe again. They haven't got that to. But I think in terms of normally we struggle on one front, and we done it on 2 fronts. And as I said, like when you look at the quality, it's not even about Villa. Yeah, they've got some good players. They have got some good players, but we've got some world-class players. And I think that's the difference. It is the difference. Like it is the difference. Like
I'll just, as a West Ham fan, as long as we finish in the top 17, I'm happy. Anything above that relegation zone, I'm happy.
Without a doubt. But I think it's a bit narrow-minded to think, we won't be progressing if we finish 8th, 10th, and all that sort of thing. We're fighting on 2 fronts. Like if we extend our squad and sign the right players at the right times and have a good transfer window, I think we'll still finish above all of them.
Well, the thing is, we start the season in 4 competitions again, so it's fighting with 2 domestic cup competitions as well as Europe. But this is what we wanted. We all wanted next level. Whatever the chairman said years ago about Champions League, forget that. Next level was being in Europe consistent, whether it was. Well, the Conference League weren't even about, so it was all about getting in Europa League. So, and we've had a taste of it now. Okay, we're in the Conference League, but it's still a European competition that was taken very seriously by teams last season. And Roma, who are a massive football club, ended up winning it. So it's a good competition to be in. I think there's more pressure on us in the Conference League next season because the teams in there will see us as probably one of the biggest clubs in it. So we're a target. So everyone's going to want to beat us. So
we've just got to rotate better. That's the thing.
And we're probably one of the favourites to win it. So pressure's on us to win it next season, just like it was with Tottenham last season, and they ended up losing to the lowest ranked team in the competition, and then obviously they went out because of COVID. But
they didn't put themselves in a good position, did they?
No.
At the end of the day, if it wouldn't been for COVID, they would have been in it because they would have had enough points. But Alex Chapman says, "Who is the other world-class player apart from Rice?"
I was thinking that.
No, I wouldn't say we've got Rice is world-class, in my opinion. But we've got players that are at the top of their game. Zuma's at the top of his game, I think.
Yeah, we've got
Bowen's at the top of his game.
Yeah, Rice is on a different level. He is world-class, but we've got top players. We've got good players.
I think we've got players that are better than Villa. I don't rate Coutinho. I just don't rate him. Never rate him.
I know he don't. I know a lot of people don't rate him, but on his day, Benrahma can be a top player, but he just needs to be more consistent. But that comes down to getting more game time. So I know there's rumours that we might look to sell him, but I don't think we can afford to sell him unless I'd like to see him stay. I like Benrahma. He just needs to be given more of a chance, and hopefully this pre-season he'll get in David Moyes' face because he done it last pre-season. He started the season so well. You remember Newcastle away scoring. You know, he started the season so well. Then I think he picked up a knock and he was out of the team, and that's when his form dipped a bit and he was in and out of the team again.
Yeah.
Zuma world class, laughing emojis, world class at being injury prone. Now listen to what I actually said. Just listen to the words. Go back and listen to the words before you comment. I didn't say he was world class. I said he was at the top. He could. You got him play. You got a world class player. Rice could play for anyone. Yeah, Rice is a true world class player. He could go and play for anyone. Yeah, but then you've got players like Bowen, probably Souček on his day as well. Zuma, maybe Areola could play for top six clubs. They could play for top six clubs, and you know they're not. I didn't say world class. I just said they're yeah. This is it. A Champions League level player. A Champions League level player.
Right.
Who said he was better than Van Dijk? I never said he was better than Van Dijk.
Yeah. The thing is, when you talk about world class players, you look at Declan Rice. You could put him in any team in the world. Kurt Zouma, would he get in Man City starting lineup? Would he get in Liverpool starting lineup? No. But would he get in Manchester United? Would he get in Tottenham's or things like that? So we've got good players. We've got players that are good for us.
Aston Villa got a better team on paper.
Yeah, but football's played on grass, not paper. So,
all right. Can we answer Ollie's question and stop rowing people, Nanny? You keep taking it down every time I want to answer poor Ollie's question. Sorry. Which competition should be a priority? Something about the conference, the FA Cup, the Carabao, or the Premier League? That's Premier
League's got to be your priority because you've got to stay in the league.
Yeah, to that extent, I suppose it's about beyond just survival.
Take the Premier League out of it then and say the 3 cup competitions.
I would rather win the FA Cup than the conference.
Yeah, from a romantic point of view, it's got to be the FA Cup.
I just think romantic-wise, I think it's a bigger trophy. I think the Europa League is bigger than the FA Cup.
Do you know what? I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Piers Morgan the other day on Twitter that said maybe they should introduce that whoever wins the FA Cup gets the 4th spot in the Champions League. So the top. Yeah. Can you imagine how many teams would take that more serious?
Yes.
Yeah, but then so would the big clubs. It's just a waste of time.
Well, I mean, even though apparently the big clubs don't, or say big club like the top 4 or 5, it's them that win it every year.
Yeah. So then they win it.
So
there's more chance for them winning it.
I mean, you take you've had, the odds that you had Portsmouth, Wigan, and the romance of the cup was restored a bit.
But funny enough, right? You say that, right? My initial answer, right, was Europe. You know, what competition at the Free Cup competitions do you? I went Europe straight away, bigger prize and all that. But it's not. The FA
Both
Cup
get
and
Europa League, didn't they?
yeah, you'd both get in the Europa League. So yeah, maybe.
I mean, in the last 20 odd years, I don't think the cup's gone outside of Liverpool, Man City, Man U, and Chelsea, is it? And Arsenal. Those 5 clubs have got a monopoly on the FA Cup.
I just think, as much as the FA Cup has lost a bit of its luster because of, well, for whatever reason, I think it's still a bigger and more prestigious trophy, definitely, than the Conference League is new. They both get the same thing, but the FA Cup, if we win that, you know, it's huge. As much as it'd be nice to win a trophy we haven't won before, I would definitely go that. Then I would go. I'd go your conference over Carabao, and Premier League. Do you know what? When you look at Premier League, I suppose you probably say Champions League qualification. If you're saying Premier League in terms of prioritising, like where do you? I mean, we want to fill our trophy cabinet up either way, didn't we? Yeah. But I don't want to let our league form. I don't want to sacrifice our position in the league. You know, that's something we don't want to lose.
Yeah, I apologise to Dolster, LCFC 92. Yeah, Leicester winning the cup as well. You know, it was nice to see. You know, so you got Portsmouth, Wigan, Leicester. You know, and for me, when that happens, like Leicester winning the cup for the first time, that's the romance of the cup restored for me. Because every other year it's like the same. Like this year, it's Chelsea, Liverpool again. You know, or Man City win it again, or you know, it's so when it's a different name on the cup, it sort of brings the romance back a little bit for me. But it's too few and far between, unfortunately.
You want to bring the romance back, make it the last game of the season, 3:00 on a Saturday. That'll bring a lot of the romance back.
Yep. Yeah. I think that's a shout. So is everyone doing the next question? I see a sort of a statement rather than a question, but it's an interesting one. I heard that Sullivan is sticking his beak in with transfers again. Yeah, what I heard, I saw something about he's getting a bit antsy over the lack of movement. That's what I saw coming in, and he's getting to that point. He is Sullivan, and he's like, "Oh, I'm off. I'm so angry." But he's apparently he's just getting a little bit impatient, or he's wanting the signings in, and sort of losing a bit of patience, is what I've heard. But again, either way, I think it's all on Moyes. I said I don't want to hear about Sullivan signings. If Sullivan says you're having this player, he's got to have the balls to say no, I'm not. You know, and if he says yes, I am, well, then that's a Moyes player, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah.
I don't think there's many more West Ham. There's nothing really else happened this week, have they? I tell you, I watched the other day. I watched the Carlton Cole interview with is it Aguerd?
Yeah, Aguerd.
I thought that was really good because I love it when Ogbonna comes in, and Ogbonna done it on his Instagram thing the other day. I love it when Ogbonna does his Cockney accent. He's fucking. He's got that spot on. All right, mate.
Yeah, all right, mate. Yeah,
he's it's good. It's nice to see Ogbonna back in training and around the players again, and hopefully, fingers crossed, he can stay injury free next season.
Yeah, he said to Aguerd, you know, you're the future. So I think that he could probably learn a bit from Ogbonna, and I think with the Conference League, I think that gives us a perfect opportunity to play Ogbonna in one competition and Aguerd in the other. Obviously, Aguerd's got to prove himself, but if he is, you know, half decent, you know, he's got that left centre back position that he's competing with Ogbonna for.
Ogbonna's been at the club. What is it? 8 years now. He's been there.
Yeah.
He's been there a long time. So, you know, I don't want to see his career just sort of fade out. I want him to obviously have a big part in the. As you said, we've got 4 competitions next season, so he won't play a lot of Premier League football unless we need to. But you've got the League Cup, you've got obviously Europe, as you said, and European football might suit him a bit as he's a bit slower.
Yeah,
I think this is the quickest shower I've ever known someone to have.
He looks like he's just been rescued, doesn't he? Like from the fucking lifeboat or something.
Yeah, like the helicopter. He's just been rescued out to sea.
I got a bit chilly all of a sudden, and I fucking can't afford to put the gas on these days, so you just have to wrap yourself up in loads of blankets.
I see a stat the other day or the other week about Ogbonna, and it was something like before his injury, you know, the amount of points that we dropped or won versus post injury, and like, you know, we got so many points, hardly lost any games with Ogbonna, you know, playing, and it just drastically changes after he gets injured, you know, and that, so you see how crucial, and it makes you wonder, you know, what if Ogbonna stayed fit and you had Zuma on the right? I think Dawson done brilliant, but I think just having those players in their natural sides, it gives you a big boost. And I think Ogbonna is just, prior to his injury, I think he was brilliant for us. He was so good, and I think it was a big loss. So hopefully he can regain that form, you know.
I love this part of pre-season, like when you start seeing the players coming back to training and seeing each other again, and you start getting in the mood for the new season. And obviously you get the pre-season friendlies coming out. There'll be another kit launch with the away kit and the third kit coming out. So it's starting to, you think, what are we now? We're just the beginning of July. So we're only, 6 weeks away now from the Premier League season starting?
I know we ain't heard nothing about the new kits, have we? Like the other kits.
No.
Like,
Do you know what, right? I want to say something about the kits, because obviously we've got the World Cup coming up. Is the England kits the same as the women's kits?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Because I'm getting a bit confused with all of this kit business with the England thing, because I see some, like, I see two kids over the park the other day. Took Jamie football training, and they've got them sort of women's kits, but they've got like men's names. So one of them had Sterling and one of them had Kane on the back. And like, I'm getting a bit confused as to, because I'll be honest with you, that fucking orange England kit that we've got is fucking atrocious. It looks like
I love it. I think it's beautiful. I think it looks fucking wicked, man. I was looking at that thinking I'd wear that.
Don't the women's Euro starts this week, didn't it? So
yeah,
it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it starts this week. Yeah, they've been doing well in the warm-ups apparently. So this one, really well. This one. Oh, sorry. Was there a comment up?
yeah.
You look like just
it's just that exciting part of the season now, isn't it? Like pre-season, where you start seeing the players come back, and the season's only 6 weeks away. So before you know it, we'll be playing our first friendly, and then we've got quite a good. I know David Moyes wasn't interested in going far away like Australia and all that, and I know it upsets the Australian fans, but I'm all for that. You know, I know that there's fans out in Australia that love to see the West Ham players, and I'm not saying that but I can understand the reasons why David Moyes would rather stay here. And
mate, I said this the other day, and I got really caned for it and all of that sort of thing. Like, the club that's based in East London don't owe people that obviously support us in other countries like a tour. If you want to support a club that's in East London, you got to be prepared to come to East London to support them. That's the, you know, and I'm not slagging off international fans and all that sort of thing, but if you want to see them, you have to come to England. They're an English-based club. It's like, you know, it's like fucking saying I want to go and watch, you know, fucking college football in America, but they've got to come to me. You know,
you say that, Nick, but if you think about it, you're competing. Like, obviously, you're trying to expand your fan base internationally.
Yeah.
Say West Ham aren't touring, but you're competing with clubs that will. So say Aston Villa go Australia, but we don't. We're there to pick up them fans.
Hold on. Let me retort. I understand what you're saying, right? But the manager's job.
Oh yeah,
he's not to promote the brand. It's to play football and do what's best for his football club, you know. And as I was saying the other day, and this is the point I was making the other day, is that you know, the manager's job is to do the best for the football club. I hate it when people like Klopp and in the past Ferguson and all of these people start talking about, you know, oh, we've got to play this many games in this many days, and we've got to do this and do this and do this. When they've every fucking opportunity that they've got a break in the fucking season, they ship them off to fucking Malaysia or China or whatever, you know what I mean, to promote the brand. Who gives a shit? Like, well, obviously the clubs do give a shit, but you know, as a football manager, Moisey don't give a shit whether, you know, people in China support us. Like, as fans, we want the best for what's out for our football team.
Yeah, but so you've got to look at, and that is a balance. Because I agree with you to a degree that, not traveling all about is best. But you got to think growing the fan base, building relationships with sponsors abroad is also good for the football club because it increases our revenue and brings more money into the club. So there's got to be a balance.
Dean Henderson, sums it up perfectly.
Yeah, exactly.
Expands the fan base.
Easy disagreement. No, but success does for sure. But there's got to be a bit of both. You can't guarantee success. You just can't. As much as whatever you have to do. But I can understand a club saying, "Let's go America, let's go China," where they go, "Oh, look, this Premier League team's coming. Let's go check."
The thing is, Dan. The thing I always think is, like we go, "Oh, we need like a billionaire to take us over and blah 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 to get success." Right? You could have 20 clubs in the Premier League owned by billionaires. Someone's got to finish top, someone's got to finish bottom. So getting a billionaire in doesn't guarantee success, does it?
Yeah, but that's it. I'm just saying I can see the importance to a club of going around, showing them, playing in front of fans from different countries, expanding the fan base, expanding the brand, because ultimately it increases revenue. And so does success, which is so does domestic success, which is why I says it's a balancing act. I completely respect Moyes saying, let's do it in Scotland this year. We had a long, grueling season last season. We played, on so many fronts, went deep in Europe, short squad. We're gonna stay fairly local. I completely respect that, but I think in the grand scheme of things, some seasons you might just have to go, all right, let's have a little bit of a cheeky tour, and it's just trying to build the club. We want to be a big club. Well, we got to have a big fan base, and I think we have got a big fan base, but you can't rest on your laurels. You got to grow it.
Matt Powell said he asked me earlier when the next episode of Hammer It Out will be out. Hammer It Out will be out directly after this. As soon as I'm finished this, I'm just finishing editing it, and then it will go up tonight. There we go. Is that everything?
Fair enough. Borough fan, did you all get season passes? I think it was, what we call season tickets. They probably call them season passes up north, but we haven't watched we've all got our season tickets. Jace did not renew his season ticket. So I know
quite a few people. Well, I wouldn't say quite, but I know a couple of people that didn't renew their season ticket.
I don't think he didn't renew it on purpose. He's just like, I said to him, deadline. He's like, "Oh well, I'll wait till next week when I get paid." Like, what are you doing? And he's just an idiot, isn't he?
Yeah, I'll pay the balance for mine on Wednesday.
He must have waited a long time to get it, and then he's just missed it. But after his first season,
I know, isn't it? What an idiot!
It's nice that Graham will be joining us next season with his season ticket.
Yes.
Where are you, Gray?
I'm in the Trevor Brooklyn upper, right by the away fans.
Oh,
so right. You're gonna watch over. We're gonna look over to there, right, and fucking see him having it out.
Hello.
He won't be. I won't be seeing you anymore around my way.
Nah, unfortunately, Dan.
Are you with by yourself?
We'll make a beer beforehand. We'll be all right.
Yeah, for sure. You by yourself or you with someone?
No, with someone.
Oh, that's good. So you're not, so you got someone to talk to.
Yeah, not sitting up there alone, so.
Yeah.
What are you getting nervous for, Gray?
Yeah, I know. What do you think we're touching your ear for?
I've got an itchy ear.
He tried logging off quickly.
Graham, I've got an itchy ear. The internet scrambled. He started
Graham, are you back at football on Monday, Gray?
I am indeed. So, but no, be good, mate. Be good. Look, my first season ticket ever at 46 years old. Get him.
Fucking hell.
Hopefully it's a good one, Gray. Hopefully it's a good one.
I just hope I'm not bad luck. Mind you, I was over there a lot last season, so and we done all right.
You better jack it in. You better jack it in if you are. But
the amount of money you spent on tickets last season, you could have got a season ticket last year.
Probably could have got two.
Yeah.
With the one he's got.
But so it's an interesting little thing is we've on this. We've got the cheapest season tickets in the Prem. I think that this has come up quite a bit. And when you look at it for Band 5, we have. But you know, when you look at like my season ticket's gone up a few seasons in a row. It's to like 700 odd quid now. So I think it's a little bit of a marketing ploy. This whole cheapest seat, you keep the band 5s, or I think they're actually expanding to even cheaper than band 5 now because we've got more seats now, isn't it? There's some of these way up, the new ones, the 299s or the 300s, but it sounds appealing when you say it, but when you look at it for the rest of us all around the season, you know, it gets a bit dearer, you know. So I don't know about you, what you lot are paying for yours, but yeah, I think very few gets benefit.
I think mine went up, but it wasn't by a lot. I think it was about 50 quid or something like that.
Mine's band 6. That was only about 300.
Where are you on the floodlights?
Oh, so yeah,
I'm selling the hot dogs in the back of the stand.
Where's yours? In the Carpenter's Arms?
Yeah.
Yeah, band 6 are the new ones that have come out.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I did see this in the paper that I think ours was the only ones that went down, and I don't think that's necessarily true. They just added a new band that was a bit cheaper, and everyone's went up and they went down. As you say, a bit of a marketing ploy. It looks good in the paper when it looks like, oh, we've taken away, especially with the cost of living crisis and all that sort of thing. It looks good when you say it's gone down, but in reality, but to be fair, and you know, I've never had a issue with the season ticket prices at West Ham, never, because there's of all the promises that they made, there's probably one of the promises that they've kept to is that, you know, they are decent prices. Our highest one is probably Arsenal's lowest one, I think, and things like that. So, but listen, they will go up. They will go up.
Our highest one's probably just over £1,000, I think. Around £1,000.
I think Arsenal's lowest one's 900 quid.
Matt, Sam, what was your favourite subject in school? Bit different.
Probably PE or drama, right?
My two were PE and history. I'm a bit of an history geek, so PE and history for me.
Yeah, mine. I was really into history when I was at school. Loved history. Still love watching history programs and things like that. But yeah, PE is the obvious, but I did love a bit of drama. I actually picked drama for my GCSEs, and the reason why I pulled out of it is because I was the only boy in the class.
Really?
All the rest were girls. And like thinking about it now, maybe I should have cracked on. And But, well, I had the choice because I got drama because I didn't get PE, and that was my first choice. And then the option come up for me to go in PE, so I had to give up. I'll give up drama to go to PE.
I've done drama GCSE. I've got an A.
I've got a C in drama. Get in.
And I've got an A in drama.
The thing about history,
you thespian, Nicky.
I took history, but the problem with history is it always debate. It was how good it was based on what you were covering. Like I remember we did World War II propaganda, and it was so dry. It was so boring.
Thanks for that, John. In the comments, thanks, John.
What was with history? What was your favourite sort of subject?
I like the medieval stuff. You know, I like the medieval times and things like that. We done a bit of Wild West, but the medieval England, I thought Oliver Cromwell stuff and all of that, I thought was interesting.
I liked the Prohibition stuff. I found that really interesting.
Yeah,
so I liked all the we did all the Romans and that, and then we did obviously later on we did sort of World War I, World War II.
I liked all the like the Victorian days and Henry VIII and all things like that. I love.
See, the thing is with the Romans, we didn't do any of the interesting stuff like Caesar. It was about the aqueducts. We did this whole thing on their aqueducts and bath systems and their sewage and all of this, and it was just like you've got all this war and political intrigue and murder, and we're doing fucking.
But you say that, right? Aqueducts are one of the reasons that we live in sanitary conditions today. It changed the world. It changed the way it changed today.
It's just not the most fun.
No, it's not fun. But it's like when you look at terms of history and all that, wars are fantastic. They're the fun things to look at. But when you look at the Romans and all that, the Romans invented straight roads. Like we wouldn't be living the way we live if it wasn't for them. Like me and Ryan have actually been to Rome. We've been lucky enough to see that sort of shit.
I've been there twice.
Dan was there.
Yeah, I know. You forget I was there, man.
And there was the camera.
I was there. I've been there twice. But what did
Graham
the Romans ever do
Graham
for us?
actually helped build the Coliseum as it goes.
I was there. I did.
He
He's
does
I
not
was
know.
there.
getting a ticket
I
off
got to
it.
admit.
I'm disappointed. Not one Monty Python reference in the chat.
I was I was the one. You know, Dan, you've seen Life of Brian, haven't you?
Yeah.
I was the one with the wolf nipple chips.
What have the Romans ever done for us apart from the
Apart
roads?
from the roads.
Great. I love that fucking film. I love it to bits.
Great film.
What was the I did see a question come up, but I can't think of it. I can't find it now. No, it's gone. But
It's gone.
I had a busy weekend last weekend. Went to see Ed Sheeran at Wembley on Saturday. It was all right. I went to Box Park before. I had something chili sambuca. I asked for a sambuca, and she said we've only got chili sambuca. And I was like, is that even a thing, or is she making that up? And she poured it out, and it was like green. It was like something out of a science fiction film. But it was one of them ones. I drank it. It tasted like sambuca, and then about 5 seconds later, you get that kick of chili. And I was like, Then on Sunday, I went to see the new Elvis movie, which was really good.
Really good.
Really good. Tomorrow, I'm going to see Harry Potter, the stage show, which will.
Oh, you turned that last yeah.
I'll be honest.
You're doing both parts in one go?
Yeah, 2 o'clock's the first one, and then 7 o'clock's the second one. Go big or go home, Gray.
We're not here to play games, right?
Mate, I've never seen Harry Potter in my life, so I don't even know what's going to be going on. So I'm just going to... I said I'll just pick it up. I say, yeah, I'll know what's going on. So, but I'll be going up. But it's going to be mental up London tomorrow because obviously you got Pride on tomorrow. So it's going to be so busy up London. So the bars are going to be packed everywhere. So, and I think there's another concert on somewhere. Is it Hyde Park or?
I think Adele's
on. Yeah, I think Adele's on as well. So it's
all go.
But going back to that Elvis film, even if you're not an Elvis fan, it's a good film to watch because you see how like he was deprived from the rest of the world. Well, obviously we weren't alive, but like the fans back in the day, the reason why, and I knew it anyway, the reason why Elvis never come overseas.
Why? Because
his manager at the time didn't have a passport. And because he wouldn't let Elvis go overseas without him, he got in his men. You should only tour America. And he only made him tour America.
I'll be honest, I never knew he didn't come abroad.
The only time he ever come to Europe was in the army when he went to Germany.
I
never knew that.
Never.
I just assumed that he would have been the biggest star in the fucking
Tom Hanks was brilliant in his role. The bloke that played Elvis was really good.
How does it compare to the Johnny Cash film? Like, if you've seen it,
it's two totally different films. I love Walk the Line. I love. I don't want to spoil too much of the film, but it wasn't based more around the drug taking. I think maybe his family might have said, because they've obviously got to give permission, didn't they? So maybe they must have said, look, don't concentrate too much on that. So it was good, but there was an interesting thing, right? In the Christmas special they done, where he sings "If I Could Dream." There's a bit in it in the film where he was meant to sing a Christmas song, but he went rogue and sung that. And his manager obviously was going mad in the background. If you actually go on YouTube now and someone spotted this out, if you listen to it around 32 seconds in, it's in the background. You can actually hear his manager shouting.
Oh, wow.
I've never ever noticed that before.
It's an interesting bit of music trivia.
It's mental, like it was mental, but it's really good. It's a really good film. But Walk the Line,
Elvis, stop it, you stupid bastard!
It was mad. Like the geezer was taking 50% of his earnings. Man, Elvis was broke. Elvis was broke in the end. Like it's crazy to think someone like that was broke, but
they could get away with it in those days, mate. I tell you, like happened to so many artists.
It's nice that a new generation of fans can.
I mean, you think how big he was and how big he still is. You know, he's still a massive That's his fella now. He, like long after he's
Yeah.
passed
Yeah,
away,
no,
you know.
it's a good film, though. It's a good film. There was another film that I watched last. Oh no, Stranger Things starts tonight, didn't it? The new one.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Netflix
I
crashed.
need to rewatch them. I've seen the first 2 series, but it was a while ago. I can't remember most of it.
Netflix crashed, didn't it?
Fucking hell. I might have to get on that. I have to get on that.
Yeah,
tonight.
I think I'm gonna give that a watch tomorrow because
there's only 2 episodes left, isn't there? Apparently, I was well disappointed. They had a big break. I need to come back with 2 episodes. I thought,
yeah, but they're 2.5 hours long each, I think.
Yeah,
are they?
Drag them out, didn't they? But it's
Be
been
like
good.
films.
This one, I've enjoyed this season of Stranger Things. It's a lot darker in it than the first couple.
Yeah, it's like a horror.
I think it's more like. Do you know what it reminds me of? Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, I think, but that's why the actor who played Freddy Krueger
Krueger's in it.
Cameo.
Yeah,
he's in there. So I think they knew that. I think they took that into
I've been watching The Boys.
Do you know what? They've been
Yeah,
talking
that's
about
brilliant,
it in work.
Fucking hell, man, that's mental. That program.
It's fucked up, but it's brilliant. I've read the comics before the thing came
I ain't seen that. I need to start watching that.
Yeah, the comics.
Graham, you're just about fucking getting caught up on Coronation Street, bro. You're still when Rita owned the shop and that.
I don't watch any soaps, mate. I'm quite pleased to say.
Okay.
Graham loves it.
And Kathy's just sold the cafe in EastEnders, where he's up to.
Yeah.
Oh mate.
Yeah. Then just slapped
Arthur just nicked all the Christmas money where I'm up to.
What?
Arthur just nicked all the Christmas money where I'm up to.
I remember that. He was having an affair with that fucking Rita, whatever her name was, and Pauline in with a frying pan.
Hold on a minute. The guy in Freddy Krueger isn't in Stranger Things. He definitely is, mate.
He is.
100% is. He's the geezer about the eyes.
Oh, Robert Ingram.
Yeah.
Robert Ingram, yeah. He's in there. He was in the credits as well, because I watched the credits after that episode to check, and he was in it. Yeah.
Come on, man. You could that the original Freddy Krueger.
That's a mad story. Like that's a mad bit of Stranger Things as well, isn't it? That freaked me out. That geezer.
Yeah.
It's got dark, mate.
Do you know what? I don't.
On 80s thing.
Though, I think all the kids have grown well, apart from Dustin. He looks weird, doesn't he? He don't look right old.
He looks kind of like the same, but a bit weird, isn't it? He almost looks like where the others have changed a lot.
It is good though.
I love the 80s vibes. I see a report. You know, what's her name? Oh,
That's it, Mrs. Hewitt.
The actress. Oh, what was the fucking name? The main woman. Oh, fuck. The actress who plays
Winona Ryder.
Winona Ryder. Apparently, they wanted to put some songs in, and she was like, "Well, wait a minute. This song didn't come out in '86. This came out in '87. What are you playing at?"
She was about. That's the thing. She was probably.
She looked good. I feel like she's been around.
She was a kid in them days, man. So she'd probably be up with the music. But that it just shows you how big this show is, man. Because fucking Running Up the Hill or whatever it's called from Kate Bush went to number 1.
Great tune. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Mad.
Do you think we're gonna? We had this sort of 80s revival in the 2000s, didn't we? Like everything was 80s. We had 80s.
You can't beat a bit of 80s.
Yeah,
no, do you know what? I disagree a little bit because, like, I was there. Like, there's a geezer that drives one of the vans in work, and he has absolute 80s on every day. And although it did produce some fucking good songs, there was a lot of shit in the 80s.
I always have absolute 90s on.
You can say that about any decade. Like the 90s, there was a lot of shit. I remember like loads of shit in the 90s. Fast food rockers. Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken and the Pizza Hut. Remember that?
For me, like the 80s for me was like it was great for being a kid. 80s was great being a kid, and 90s was like when I left school, early 90s, and then that was my decade of.
Someone said the other day that in 8 years' time, the 80s was 50 years ago.
Oh, don't.
Do you know what? Funny enough, right? We spoke about this. No, actually, we didn't speak about this yesterday. A friend of mine sent me, a friend of ours, mine and Ryan's, Stevie Taylor, sent me some photos today yesterday on my WhatsApp, and it was 20 years ago that I went to a place called Faliraki, and I'll tell you the story. I split up with my then girlfriend, and I was in a shit place. All my mates was going on this fucking mental holiday. first boys' holiday, and I was sort of tied down to a girl for a few years, so I never booked, and we split up. She left me for someone else, if you want to know. And they said to me, just come. And my mum sorted it out. So I done it in a couple of days. I was off to Faliraki. Ryan, I was 19 years old when I went to Faliraki, and I'm 40 this year. So it was 20. The reason why I sent him is because it was 20 years ago that we went to this place, man. And he met a girl, right? My mate Stevie was 18 at the time, and he met a girl out there, right? And she was 27, I think he said. And this puts it into perspective, right? He said he's 27 because he went out with her for a little while when we came back, and he went, "She's nearly 50 now." I went, "What?" He went, "Yeah, she's nearly 50. Of course, she's like 48 in a few weeks." And I'm like, "Fuck, man! Like, what's happened?"
Yeah, it's fucking.
What's happened to time?
Yeah,
well, I was on Twitter yesterday and I had to double check it because I didn't believe it. I even had to like sort of quickly work it out in my head. I'm not good with maths, but Michael Owen, when he scored that goal against Argentina, was 24 years ago yesterday.
Down the pub for that, man.
I was like, mate, I was in fucking Borman's flat drinking little green French beers watching that. 24 years ago.
I was down the cherry tree in Dagenham watching that.
In 2 years' time, Euro 2004 was 20 years ago, right? When we were sitting up at the club, and my mate Stevie Ballman come in and started talking about roller coaster.
Yeah, man, it's mad how quick life goes.
He died as well recently. He's passed away. But yeah,
I mean, like life just goes so quick. You don't realise, like,
thing is,
it does.
In my mind, I was 21 yesterday. I'm going to be 46 in about 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was your birthday, Gray, and you thought you was 21 again. I would say, shit, we didn't wish you happy birthday.
No, I still think I'm 21. Well, I still think I'm like 17, 18. That's the trouble.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm 38 now, so I'm 2 years away from 40. Like, it's crazy.
I'm 40 this year, mate.
I'm fucking. It is mad. It is mad how quick life goes. But look, we're on the journey once. Enjoy it, mate. Enjoy it while you're up.
Exactly.
We're lucky enough to be on this earth.
Yeah, mate. There's no
enjoy it.
Just do what you got to do, man. There's no return ticket. You know what I mean? My camera's about to run out, so we're gonna have to wrap it up
as we end this philosophical portion of Friday Night Pint.
Yeah.
Cheers out. Is that say Graham or?
Yeah, go on, Graham. Cheers out.
Nah, go on. I don't like doing the outro. I don't like doing it. Makes me nervous.
Go on, cheers out, mate.
All right. Thank you all so much for joining us on this edition of Friday Night Pint. It's been a really good show. Great to be back with the lads. And do look out for the podcast. Hammer it out. Patreon. If you're on Patreon, if you're not, get on there. Nikki is putting that up after this. So do check. If you check straight away and it's not there, just keep checking. Check tomorrow.
It'll be within the next half an hour.
Yes. And keep subscribing.
And if you can't see it, that's because you're not a patron. So be a patron, then you can see it.
Exactly. So stay tuned to the channel. Like, subscribe. One thing left to say: come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.